Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be introducing you to the beautiful Mel Moore. We're going to be talking about all things big visioning, trust, surrender, and we're going to do a tapping session together. And I can't wait. I've been so excited for this, and I'm a little bit like flushed from how excited I am. If you look at me, you're like, she's blushing, she is. So Mel, can you tell us a little bit about you and how you got into EFT and just anything that you want to share about the work that you do?
Well, hi Cassie. Good morning. Well, morning for me. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. Um, so how did I get into tapping? Gosh. So I've always been interested in holistic therapies and alternatives and I actually, if we rewind way back, I started off life doing journalism. I worked for the BBC. Then I spent 10 years in the corporate world doing headhunting and recruiting, but then I had my children and my kids are 20 and I have to think 20 and 18 now, so they're not even kids, they're adult. I've got adult children now. And it was when I was pregnant with my son that I got really kind of into yoga, and it just really opened me up spiritually, I think. And I then had reflexology sessions, Reiki sessions, and by the time my daughter came along, I was well like on the path of right, I want to do this as a career for myself. I didn't want to go back to the corporate world after having my daughter. So when they were very young, that was when I trained as a reflexologist, Reiki practitioner, actually Reiki, then reflexology. But then tapping was introduced during my Reiki training. Sorry, reflexology training, when I learned about all the meridians and the acupressure points in the body. So that was when I first discovered it. And it was also kind of when I read The Secret and I learned about the law of attraction. So it all kind of came at the same time, really. And it was just
Mm.
like lots of kind of learning about chakras, and then I got into angel cards and but the tapping, so I started off originally having a business it started mostly with reflexology and Reiki, supporting women on their fertility journey.
Mm.
But then I gradually incorporated tapping because I found that it helped women with all the stress around childbirth, and on the side, I had a kind of another kind of interest group, I'd call it, of my actual clients. I was doing personal development and vision board workshops. So that was kind of like more of like a bit of fun. Let's do these vision board workshops. I'd read about the secret of manifesting, but by my day job, I was as a holistic therapist. And it must have been a few years later when I brought the two together that I thought, well, do you know what, tapping plus vision boards, there's a missing piece here. And that's when my business, Tapping Into Your Big Vision, was born. So I then really took more of a leap into, I continued doing the tapping, but it was more centered around helping people to achieve their goals, to, to tap into something just greater, and something they want, things they wanted to manifest. So that's really, really short version
I
of how
love
I got into
that. And I love how you start, like it's always such a beautiful evolution. And I find that each element of the work leads us to the next. And I also loved how while you were tapping into your bigger vision, it was all growing for you. Like it was coming together for you and then helping you bring it together for clients. And it reminded me, so the same thing of like working with women on something physical, but then helping them with the emotional and spiritual aspect. That's why I brought kinesiology into my business, because same as you, I was working with women more as a naturopath with physical, there's still some anxiety, depression, but I was like, I can give you all the herbs, but if you feel stressed about taking the herbs, like you're not going to take them. So it's the same element of like, let's just try and work to clear stress on other levels, and then actually the body flows differently anyway, and then we're more able, we feel clearer physically to be able to do more of the things that we want to do. So can you tell me when someone comes to you and or the work that you do and they have a big vision, tell me what happens, because I find like a lot of the time for me and with my clients, if we have a really big vision, sometimes the fact that it's so big means that getting there also feels really big. So it's like two twofold. I have a big vision. It feels so big. I can see myself there. But then because of how big it feels, it's almost like the gap feels bigger too. What's your play there? Like, how do we move through when something feels so big and it feels so far away?
Yeah, well, I think before we even get there, I think a lot of people don't even know they've got big vision, that it's been buried so deep that, you know, I think for a lot of people, most people just go through life just living day to day to day, not even knowing that there is more available and there is a bigger life that they could possibly even imagine. And it might not be, it's not even in the sense of, you know, mansions and seven figures, eight, and just like big, it's not even that. It's sometimes even if you're stuck in a career or relationship or just kind of just like is this my life, is
Yeah.
this, or stuck in a job that they don't, just not filling them up with joy. And I think sometimes it's just, even when we talk about big vision, it's just not even pursuing hobbies and other things in your life that kind of light you up, that perhaps did when you were younger.
Mm.
And you kind of like think, oh yeah, think, oh yeah, I love cooking, or I love dancing, or I love painting. And I see this in my mum, my mum, bless her, she's 87 now.
Wow.
And a couple of years ago, when we were clearing out their house, and because they moved into a smaller assisted living place, so
Mm.
they left their family home, had this whole great big decluttering, moving. It was quite a stressful time.
Yes.
Anyway, I went through all their things, and we were like, what we keeping, what we getting rid of. And up in the loft, there were boxes of my mum's sculptures and pottery, and she'd made so many beautiful, like, yeah, sculptures. And we knew there was a few of them in the house, but we found so much of it. And my dad, he was really artistic. He loved to, well, I wouldn't say he loved to paint. He was very good at painting.
Yeah.
And there were some paintings, and I thought, neither of them ever explored that, ever. And it's tragic that they had so much creativity and talent, but they both worked, not but, they worked in psychiatric hospitals. That's all I ever knew of them growing up, working
Yeah.
really, really hard, you know, doing all the hours at the hospitals, to earn money to keep, us all, fed and housed
Yes.
and everything. So, and that's what I see as kind of like the tragedy, that we don't explore our creative side, and not just creative, but whatever that big vision could be for you. So,
Yes. Oh, I love that because do you know what? I actually do. When I think of a big vision, I do think really big often, which is beautiful. But I love what you said. It's like, it's actually the bigness of those day to day, I don't want to say habits because like maybe it's not even a habit, but connecting with different versions of your soul's gift and of happiness. And that beautiful word glimmer that keeps popping around on memes, like it's the opposite of a trigger. So it's the moment where you
yes.
feel deep gratitude or everything feels. And I've been looking for those in my day, like consciously, but that's just reminded me of it feels connected, like the tapping into the bigger vision of your life and finding joy and doing the art or pulling out doing pottery. It's like finding and making bigger glimmers in your day all the time.
And actually, you could, I'm sure my mum and dad would never have thought of it in a million years. You can make money from those gifts. People
Yes.
do. There are people out there, you go to these big fancy stores, there are pieces of pottery and sculptures that are thousands of pounds, So, but yeah, that I see that for a lot of people. And I think, and it could be actually, do you know, I'm going to explore that side, but also do something else as well. It's just like, actually, what is my soul calling me to do? Is it
Yeah.
to be of service? Is it, and maybe, like us, sometimes it's your own experience, which then goes on to be of service to help others. Why did I go through X, Y, Z? Okay, maybe it's because I am, strong enough to have dealt with that, but now I can help others who may not be feeling so strong to go through that. So yeah, there are so many ways in which we have a bigger vision. Well, there is this bigger vision
Yeah.
calling us, and it's just having, the awareness of what is it, just giving yourself the time and space for it to come to the surface, but also
Mm.
then the bit you're talking about, okay, what do I need to do something about it to make it big,
Yes.
to actually, create a living, or not just a living, but abundance from my soul's purpose.
I love it. And so, what's your favorite way? Like, if someone came to you and they said to you, or just in the work, like within your work and within your, even just your YouTube videos, like, what's your favorite piece to help clients with? Big vision is the big overarching theme, I guess, but like, if you go nitty gritty, how do you help someone find or support them to find their vision? If they come to you, they're like, Mel, I'm lost. Like, where do you start? Because that's quite a big thing. It's a big question that they bring to you.
It is. It's
Yeah.
massive. Well, first it's just the clarity piece, and the I think the biggest question that we can ask ourselves, and the one that, I have to come back to quite often, is just what does my heart and soul really want right now?
Mm.
And it's just tuning into that. And of course, at different times of the day, you're going to want different things. But really sitting with that question, sometimes it's just taking yourself off, maybe even going on a retreat. That's, kind of like if time, expense, I highly recommend retreats. Take yourself off on a retreat. But even if you can't do that, just give yourself an afternoon off in nature. Go and sit under a tree or just go for a walk and connecting with that question. And sometimes just on a loop. What does my heart and soul really want right now? And actually go deeper and deeper until you get to the point of, oh my God, is that what I want? And then a few things can kick in at that point, just like, oh, that's never going to happen. Or the fear, or, well, you well, what do I do now? How do I bring? So it's connecting with that, then listening to what your heart, what your soul is saying.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at this point, I think you do need support. I needed the support of therapists, coaches, healers. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the whole team,
Yeah.
the earth team and the angelic team, to help me kind of like take the next step, because life isn't it's not just like, right, I know my big vision, tomorrow let's just get to work and do it. You've got kids, you have obligations to deal with, you've got stuff to do, and now I'm at the stage of my life where my parents' needs are they're great, my parents' needs, and it's just typical that just as my kids are, older,
Yes.
independent, and less needy, suddenly I have that with my parents now.
Yeah.
They're a
There's
lot
actually
needier.
a beautiful novel. I don't know if you like reading novels, but her name's Catherine Newman, and she's written a book called Sandwich. It's fiction, and it's wonderful. And it's about that. It's the sandwich between your, aging parents and children growing up.
Yeah,
And it reminded me that
I am
it's
thick in that sandwich.
in the
The sandwich,
sandwich.
the child layer is not so bad now, and yeah, it's just a whole. When we talk about manifesting, which I know you wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
some of the things I've manifested recently are so boring.
I
But no,
wasn't
but
expecting that. I was like,
no,
leaning, but I love it. I want to hear more.
no, but they have had such a massive impact on my life. Just like the mundane is
Yeah.
manifesting
Like
the
what?
mundane.
Do you feel comfortable sharing some of
Yeah, of
the,
course. Yeah. So,
yeah.
so we recently had a big trip to Thailand with my family,
Yes.
and it was wonderful. And that was a manifestation in itself because we did it a couple of years ago with my parents. My dad has dementia,
Oh,
and he, and my mum's his main carer, but my mum has quite severe mobility issues.
yeah.
So, we had a great, and 2 years ago, they were already, old
Yeah.
and had challenges.
Yeah.
But we had 12 of us go. So we had my brother went, my kids who are older, my nephews, my cousin, so it's a big family trip, and I've got family in Thailand as well. So I thought, you know what? We can do this. We just need to get them there. Once we get them there, it'll be great. And but this time around, they were 2 years older and their needs were greater. But actually, while we were there, it was fine. But I knew that when we came back, because I could already see in the lead up to Thailand that my mum was struggling, with my dad. And I thought, I need, we need new carers in place.
Mm.
But my mum is quite specific. She has kind of quite, she's quite particular. She knows what she wants, and fair
High
enough, you know.
standards.
Yes, high
Yes.
standards.
Yes.
And when it comes to care, I felt that, oh my gosh, I need somebody who it's a bit like, so I kind of joked, it's like manifesting a new partner. I had a big tick list from my mum of the person who
Yes.
could deal with both their needs. And anyway, so I'd literally, so we came back from Thailand. We're back just over 2 weeks now. My dad got really sick on the flight home. And by the time he came back, he
Sorry.
was so poorly and he'd picked up some sort of bug. And so I was so jet lagged and I didn't, because he was sick, literally vomiting practically the whole flight from Bangkok to London. It was awful.
That's so hard.
And I know. And when we landed, I was kind of felt a little bit just broken anyway from the flight. But then I
Yes.
thought I can't leave them alone for because they do live independently. So I spent 3 nights staying at theirs, looking after them, and obviously not sleeping much, just cooking, doing all the things. And I remember waking up on the third morning thinking, oh my gosh, I feel so desperate right now. We need a solution. So I literally I was thinking, what do I want for them right now? What do I want for them? And I literally made a list. And, you know, if someone's manifesting a partner or a friend or anything, I would use this exact method. Literally, I put down all the qualities I was looking for in that
Yes.
person, um, the essentials. And my essentials were quite specific because my mum's from Thailand. She has certain ways she likes to do things culturally. I just thought at the end of it, you know, I'd love a Thai person if
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
Is that possible? You know, it's just like that's my,
Yes.
is it
Question
possible?
mark.
Because they'd be able to cook for my mum and, you know, even things with cleaning. My mum is quite particular. She likes certain gloves for the bathroom, certain gloves for the
I
kitchen, and
get it.
you know, just hygiene.
Yes.
She's just certain kind of cultural ways, you know, no shoes in the house, and
Yes.
um, so anyway, I
Same. It
literally
sounds
thought,
like I'd get along with your mum so well. I'm like, shoes off now.
well, exactly, I'm the same. So I literally made a list of all the things, essentials, and then the nice to haves, and yeah, and then I'm always leave a bit open to like, you know, if the universe can provide a bit of extra sprinkling of magic, I'm here for that.
Yes.
And so I did. I thought, how can I do this? And I thought, right, I'm just going to go to a local Facebook group and just it felt so, and I was really resistant to do that. I thought it just felt a
Yes.
little bit vulnerable and a bit, you know, just putting my parents' needs out there in the world. So I
Yes.
thought, you know, I'm just going to do it. So it's Friday morning. By Friday evening, I was on the phone to a lady who turned out bizarrely just through the Thai community. She knew my mum anyway, just from
Oh,
that. And she said, I was thinking of you, mum. I hadn't seen her. She was an experienced carer of, you know, 20 years care. And she just was looking for a new job. Her
oh my
previous
gosh.
lady had just gone into a care home. And she was looking, and she said, oh my gosh, I would love to look after your parents. She was literally came for a chat on Sunday just to get herself reacquainted with my mum. Monday morning, 7 a.m. she started. And honestly, I could have wept with joy and
Yeah.
it felt like a lottery win. And, you know, we're 2 weeks into her being with my mum now,
Mm.
and she couldn't be better. You know, she's making meals for them, and then she's like making meals for me and my
Oh.
brother as well. You know, it's just like,
It's like
and
you're
anyway,
being
so
taken care of
yeah,
like you're taken care of because your heart can be taken care of because you know your parents taken care of, and then you're
exactly.
actually physically being taken care of as well with
It's
meals.
like when you put your children, you're looking for, you know, childminder for your children,
Yes.
you know, and honestly, that's what I mean. It's boring, you know.
But
Who
it's so like grounding and support. It's like,
But it's freed up my energy
yes.
because I was thinking, it was nutrition really for my parents, just making sure they were fed properly. So it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm cooking meals for me. I'm running around cooking meals for them, but then running around doing the cleaning,
Yeah.
housework, and I thought I can't do this. So actually, just by having care for, you know, 3, 4 hours a day, just frees up my world so much.
Oh, it's
Anyway, so that's
amazing.
what I mean by saying my greatest
Yes.
manifestations are boring, you know, but for
But
me, it's like a lottery win.
it's amazing. And you know, speaking of the list, that's how I manifested this apartment. I wrote a list. So I moved into my parents' place. So everyone who knows has known me for a while knows I separated from my husband about a year ago, moved into my parents' place for a little while. And I knew when I moved in, I just knew I'm gonna have my own apartment within 3 to 4 months. I just had this download. It's just gonna happen and it's gonna be a phone call. That was the information I got. And the Sydney rental market is such that you arrive and you line up behind 80 other people.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, single mum who runs her own business up against, 80 other people with whatever careers and whatever partnerships they have. So I went to a couple, didn't get them. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to write my list. And I called it my unicorn apartment list. And I wrote every single thing I wanted. And
I
I was
called
so,
my mum's
oh.
carer my unicorn. I even posted I posted a picture of a unicorn with my Facebook post. But does this person exist? That's so funny. Sorry, carry on.
No, so I put unicorn emojis when I put mine into a Facebook group. And you know what was so funny though? You know how you said you felt quite vulnerable? I felt really vulnerable putting it in a Facebook group. It was a mum Facebook group, but there were two. There was like two different groups that I put it up in. But some people with so much care responded with like the care emoji, and I was like, but it felt, I read into it
Same.
like like was felt a bit like passive aggressive, not passive aggressive, like what's the word? I was like, you don't need, like, I'm okay. I'm just looking for something incredible and I know I'm gonna get it. Like I'm putting this out there, like knowing I'm safe and held in this. And I was so specific. I was like, I want a bath and a shower. I don't mind if there's a bath, the shower is over the bath, but I want a bath and a shower. I want a balcony or a garden and or close to a park. I want ground floor or one flight up but easy access. I want a garage with storage. I want room for an office or a separate nook or a third bedroom. I want fans in the bathroom. I was so specific. And as I said, I went to a couple. I applied to one that I didn't want, but I needed my nervous system to like go through the process of applying. And I didn't get the apartment. And I was like, well, I didn't want you anyway, but I was a little bit annoyed that I didn't get it. And then it ended up being that I was cooking dinner one night at my parents'. I just checked my phone. I had an email from a real estate company. There was this lovely apartment for rent, only 6 or 7 weeks in away in the future. So I called the agent. She hadn't put it on any of the real estate websites because it wasn't available yet. And she was like, "We just want to see if we can do it quietly without." It was a new family, like their young baby. So that was on the Tuesday. I went through on the Friday. I applied. I got it the next week. She called me and she said, "It's yours." And I said to her, "How many people applied?" And she goes, "Oh no, it was just you. You were the only one who called and you were the only one who came through." And that was and so it ended up being that it was 3 months between, like, from when I got the email from moving into my parents. And then it was about, into the fourth month that I moved out. But it was just a phone call. It was my list. I got absolutely everything. I didn't even get one balcony. I got two. We're
Amazing.
opposite the two parks. I'm 800 meters to the ocean. It's so beautiful. And I feel so,
Amazing.
so lucky to be here. There's this giant nook in that, like, this is the living room, the dining room rather, but the most perfect nook. I've got my big desk and like a beautiful cabinet and my plants and everything. And it was all from that list. And I just knew. And that was what I wanted to ask you, because self-trust is, for me with manifesting, there's this element of certainty but also detachment. And for me, I knew I'm getting an apartment. Like, people would say it's going to be so hard, and I'm crossing this out for anyone listening who's looking for an apartment. It's going to be so hard. You're a single mom, you run your own business, it's going to be so hard. And I was like, but I'm getting my apartment. Like, it doesn't, I'm not aligning, I'm not tapping into that energy of hard. I know my budget, it was in my budget, I know what I want, and I know when I'm getting it, and it's done. It's just done. And then there's the detachment, because there was an apartment I wanted on this street that I applied for, and I didn't get that one because I was being protected because I was getting this one.
Yes.
But talk to me about the self-trust and that balance. It's like a seesaw, I see it. Like, here's the certainty and here's the detachment. And we actually don't want to go too deep into either, because too much certainty becomes attachment and too much
Yeah.
detachment becomes almost like a nonchalance where it's less certainty, you know?
Yeah. Do you know, trust is a big thing. It is trusting. And but then you have to get to the phase where, even when things do go wrong, things don't work out, that actually that's all part of the journey. And, I think I've got to the place now where even when things happen, I think, oh my God, what the hell? So I'll tell you, so before I went to Thailand, I'd kind of written out all the um, things I wanted out of the trip, particularly around ease of travel,
Mm.
particularly my parents that were supported. But overall, we have an amazing time. And it sounds awful, but like at their ages and with their medical issues, that we get back in one piece.
Yes.
And
That's
let's just get
legit.
them there. Let's get them there. Let's
Yeah.
get them back. Everyone has a wonderful time. And there were a couple of things that happened on that trip that were not good. And but the biggest one was the journey home and my dad being so sick. Like literally we're just taking off from Bangkok airport. We're all a bit I think we left at about 2 in the morning, so we're all kind of dozing
Oh,
next to this commotion and my dad is just covered in vomit. And and it's just like horrendous. Actually, the first great thing I manifested was getting my mum an upgrade to business class,
I
which I
saw
was
that on
so
your Instagram stories. She
I
looked
I
so
really
comfy.
wanted I really wanted that for her. Just and it just just came about in a really really lovely way. Unexpected lovely way.
Yes.
Um, and so I thought, firstly, she was protected from the stress and the trauma. She probably would have been sat next to him. She probably would have been covered in it. And it would have
Yeah.
been just literally on takeoff another 12 hours. But, my older brother, he was sat next to my dad and he was more than capable. I was then apologetically, the staff were amazing. So anyway, he was then sick literally every hour until we landed in
Oh my
Dubai.
God.
Then he was okay for a couple of hours, okay for the Dubai leg, but then an hour just before we landed in London, he was sick again. But we were kind of more prepared. But the first time and the click, you don't need me to go into details. It was just horrific,
Yeah,
um,
sorry.
and it was just like, and it's like, why has this happened? And then plus, he was really sick, and I was really worried about him. But it was almost like the universe said, look, we're going to have to dump this great big curveball. The journey has to be bad because there's this carer out there who's going to be so amazing. She's available now, but we need to speed things up a bit. We need to adjust the timings so
Ah, oh,
that
I got
you put
goosebumps
your
when you said
post
that.
out. You put your post out at a moment of your desperation, like, a couple of days later, she happens to be available. And this is why it's going to be bad, but for the greater good and the longer term, you're going to be able to deal with it.
It
And
did because
then
it sped it up, right? Like you might not
it did.
have put that post out and she might have then gotten another job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it was just like, I almost felt like the universe, like, sorry, we're gonna have to do this to you, but it's just gonna have to be so bad for a bit but there is a
Yes.
solution on the
So
horizon.
sorry, but
I honestly, that's the energy I felt. It was a bit like, why has this happened? This is so awful. Um,
oh,
so, there was that, and then while we were away, we were in Bangkok and we spent our actually relaxing holiday bit in Phuket. So that was lovely. We had this gorgeous villa. And on our last day in Phuket, we had this awful incident where my nephews, my kids, and my brother, they really got into trouble in the ocean.
oh,
It was just horrific. I wasn't there, so I kind of like was spared the whole trauma of the whole incident. But we were on this big beach in Phuket, and it was yeah, just it was very deceptive. Just one of those, and just it's just a cautionary tale out there for anyone. If you're at the sea, unless you're a strong, strong swimmer, and the tides of the oceans, it could be so deceptive.
yeah.
Anyway, so they'd gone out, and I'd been in the sea, so it's one of those where you're in the sea up and it was like knee depth for ages, going further. All of a
Yes.
sudden, the floor of the ocean just
Oh
disappeared,
my
and the
God.
rip came, and they were so my kids who are I've said they're older. They were with my nephews who are 10 and 12, and they were trying to keep them above
Oh
water,
my gosh.
and they were really, for about 5 minutes, they were really in trouble. Another, somebody saw they were in trouble, all of them. Anyway, they had to have that whole lifeguard rescue with
Wow.
get the kids on and, the walk of shame onto the beach and
Oh,
all of that. And the two younger ones were really, really traumatized. And the awful thing, and this is a bit that just makes me shudder afterwards, and my heart goes out to the other family, but another girl died an hour later,
oh my God.
exactly the same conditions. We only discovered this, a couple of days later when we saw on the news,
How
literally on
old was
Instagram,
she?
10. Just, and, I've been sending my prayers and just, and, this is just a whole nother conversation. Well, why does that happen? I don't know. I don't know why some people are spared and some people aren't.
Yes.
It's one of life's horrible questions that hopefully we never have to ask ourselves. But, obviously my heart does go out to the other family. But, so just bringing it back to my family, that night, my two younger nephews were really, really they were really quiet. They were upset. They were quite
Yes.
traumatized. And, I did tapping with them that night.
Yes.
We tapped and they both said they felt so much better. And I kind of had to say to them, as awful as that was, that could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yes.
You could be, in years to come, when you're in Ibiza or you're somewhere with your mates and you're in the sea and you're kind of ignoring the red flags and you think, yeah, I can do this. You're going to remember this day, not with the trauma, because we're going to clear that trauma, but
Yeah.
you're going to remember and you're going to be careful. You're going to be cautious. You're going to always have that level of, I'm going to have that level of caution forever now with this
Yeah.
ocean. And you kind of, ask, well, why do these things happen sometimes? I will find the silver lining all day, every day as to why bad things happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's the level of that's the stage I've got to now where, yeah, that happened because there was a lesson I needed to learn. It's maybe going to protect me from something in the future. I've been delayed for a reason.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, and I think when we're manifesting the big things, we're impatient. We want it now. We want it yesterday. We can't think, oh, that's been on my vision board for like 5 years. Why has it not
A
happened yet?
hundred years.
100. Exactly. And I am just very, I think I've just got this level of patience now with, as long as I am enjoying my life today, I've woken up feeling happy today, I go to bed with peace in my heart. I'm happy. I'm grateful. That's a really fortunate life to be living. If you can, just I do my gratitude walks every day, and one of the things I'm really grateful for is, I feel really safe in my neighborhood. I feel safe in my body, in my skin.
Mm.
I'm not waking up feeling anxious because of, who's in the house with me. I'm not waking up feeling, I'm not going to work feeling anxious because there might be a bomb, drop on
Yes.
my road. I've got access to all, the amazing basics that make my life comfortable. And I do, I find huge gratitude in that and think, yeah, all the other stuff, that's on its way. That's nice to have. And I'm just going to focus on staying in this place of gratitude. And
Mm.
because you talk about your environment, finding your environment is so important.
Yeah.
Um, your home, your neighborhood is so important. I talk about the four pillars of the big vision, and the environment is one of those pillars.
Yeah.
It's if your environment, you feel safe in your environment, and of course, we want to upgrade our environments. We want to go to nice places on holiday. We want to drive nice cars. That's all our environment. But it's a really important pillar. When we feel safe in our environment, our nervous system is soothed, and we can go after all the other stuff as well.
Yeah. I love what you said. It's on its way. And then can you tell us about your gratitude walks? I mean, obviously you're walking and doing a gratitude practice, but tell us more. They sound lovely.
Well, funny enough, I've just finished. I do this thing in my community every year called the Prosperity Party. We've actually just wrapped it up.
Yes.
One of the daily tasks is a gratitude list, and there's nothing new with a gratitude list. I think every personal development teacher and their wife and their dog
Yes.
and Oprah and everyone do a gratitude list. Do a
Yeah.
gratitude. It's nothing new. And sometimes I feel that they can be a little bit forced and a bit like, oh, yes, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my house,
I like my
grateful for my,
coffee. Yeah.
but it's just like, it just feels a bit boring and a bit like you almost it feels like a chore.
Yes, like homework. Like I'm going to sit down and do my list.
But I find when I go for a walk, I can just look at things and I can think things out loud. I can, whisper it out loud. I can say it out loud and I can feel it in my body. And sometimes I do write them, but because I've got to walk the dog every day, I
Yes.
just kind of incorporate it. But I also like to
That
give
would be called
gratitude,
habit stacking. I walk my dog and I do my gratitude walk.
multitasking.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a habit now that, yeah, walk the dog and just think of all the things I'm grateful for as well.
Mm.
And but also, even giving gratitude for things in advance. I'm so grateful for this, um amazing opportunity that's giving gratitude in advance for the
Yes,
things you
yes.
want to manifest. I'm so grateful that it's happened, it's done. I'm so
Yes.
grateful for, whatever, just call it in.
I love it. Also, I don't know if you're aware, but there are rainbows all over your face and and
It's this
behind. It's
time of day.
amazing. It's so lovely. I'm like, she's speaking about manifesting, and there's rainbows on her third eye.
It's so funny. I do have these sun catchers, the light catchers in the window, and it's just this time.
Yes,
I want to say it's just, a
it's just
phenomenon.
me. It's my aura. It's just
No,
who
I
I
really,
am. I love it. So, okay, as I was saying to you before we hit record, I love all things business and creation and just that everyone's into like the behind the scenes process. Can you share with us a little bit about, and I still want to do some tapping together, but I would love to know from you, how do you create your tapping videos? Like you get an idea, does it just drop in for you? Do you like what's your creative process for moving the tapping and the energy out of you and onto our screens, basically?
Well, I always ask because I have a members community,
Yes.
and I will often every month I'll say, what would you like me to create a tapping video for you on? And I get a lot of the ideas from them, but then very often it's just like it's kind of, what would I want for myself? I get the most I have a list on my phone that I just keep adding to,
Yeah.
and I'm never short of ideas. I can be doing coaching calls, group calls, Zoom calls. I thought, oh, that'd make a great idea for a tapping video. Adds to the list.
Yes.
And then I would love to say that I'm really organized and I have a day for content creation and batching and however, I feel that as it comes September, like new school year, kids are back to school. What are
Yes.
you talking about? They're not back to school. My daughter's leaving home. My
Oh my
daughter, she's going.
gosh.
I know. So my daughter
Oh,
starts university in 2 weeks, actually, two
that is
weekends time. I'm
amazing.
driving up to the other side of the country, and she's
Oh.
that's a whole nother. I'm gonna have to park that before that really will get me going.
Yes.
And actually, my son, he's starting a year-long internship in London. So, he's been at uni for 2 years. So he's actually coming home for the year. So I've actually got a
Yes.
reprieve from my empty nest for a year.
Yes.
Um, but I've already said to him, look, I know you're coming back home, but I, I've got stuff to do. I've got
Yes.
I've got business to run, and so
Yes.
I will make you dinner. I'll do your laundry, but other than that, you know,
Yeah.
you are taking yourself to the station and all this. So
Yes.
I don't have to do school runs anymore, which
Oh,
is it's just like a whole, and plus with a whole new carers for my parents, I literally put pen to paper a little while ago and I started to write myself a schedule. And I think Wednesdays are content creation day.
I love it.
But however, we haven't started this whole new plan yet. But prior
Yes.
to this, I made this big list. And then maybe once a month, I would literally just hit record, have a few different top outfit changes, hit record with my
Yeah.
camera, and literally just start filming. And that's the thing, because my life was very much governed by, picking my daughter up from school and tending to my parents' needs. There wasn't a lot of continuity in my life. I
Yeah.
felt that, and I honestly, things were getting to the point of, I can't continue like this. It feels like I need more structure and because I've always been like, I don't like structure. I don't like routine. I like to go with the flow. I like to do things when inspiration hits. And I'm very much that whole, I prefer things to be fluid and
Mm.
free. But as I've kind of, got deeper into my business, I know that I need more structure. I need more systems. Because I'm very much of that whole creative big vision, just leave a whirlwind of mess behind me.
Mm.
But I know that when I've had team members in the past, even my kids, even my partner, they are all super organized. They are the
Yes.
polar opposite to me. And
Yes.
and I think there's nothing wrong with, I think most creatives are. They're a bit of a whirlwind. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
And do you know what I find? Like as you're speaking there, when you said I really love, like I love being in my flow and I don't love structure. What I find to be true is that flow actually likes a bit of structure. And I think of a riverbank.
yeah,
And if we just let the water just completely go anywhere, it would either go everywhere or it be absorbed by the earth. But if there's a riverbank holding it, we can actually direct its flow and it can run deeper. I mean, not even necessarily faster, but it's held in the boundary and like the earth energy of, and actually that's what I want to do. Before we tap, I'm going to pull a card from my energy balancing deck. And I just saw earth energy, but let's see, not to spoil the ending. I don't know what card will come out, but it's like the flow actually needs earth energy. And one of my favorite quotes is by, it's in one of Stephen Pressfield's books. And it's so funny. I've mentioned this quote
I
actually.
just
Oh,
it's so funny. I was just listening to Stephen
oh,
Pressfield
I love
last night.
him.
Um,
I love
I've
him.
heard of him, right? The War of Art, it's been
Yes.
on my like to read list for time, but it was kind of like, I kind of get what it's about, but I
Yes.
listened to it last night.
It's
Did
amazing.
you like
So
what happened? Oh,
Oh, how funny. So, what's so funny, and you can tell me actually if this quote is in that book, because I have all of his books on creativity and writing, and I've never been able to find this quote again, but I mention it at least once a week to my clients. And he is quoting another author who says, I only write when my muse arrives. Thankfully, she arrives every day at 9 a.m. when I sit down at my desk. And I find that to be true. Like it's so funny because as again, before we hit record, I was saying like I was apologizing to Mel because I sent her a calendar link with a different scheduling software and it like didn't send her it didn't send me the rescheduling and then it didn't send her the Zoom link. But in general, I'm actually really organized. So I was like, what? Like I felt so bad that it was so disorganized for you to arrive here, but we're here. But I find that when I create it doesn't even matter how big the space is, but the intention to create, even if I like the creativity will arrive because I've arrived. And so I love
mm,
that idea. Like you've got the ideas and you know that you don't need a perfect schedule to create, and you are intending to create more structure so that you can create with more flow and it'll be a different kind of creation because you'll sit down
mm,
and it will be like using a different muscle at the gym. Like if you're always used to, doing, I'm making this up, like a bicep curl, it's really easy. Like you're always used to just creating in whenever it hits the
mm.
inspiration. And this time you're going to be doing like a tricep dip. I don't know. Because, and it's going to feel uncomfortable initially, but then
Yeah.
yeah, but then you'll sit down and be like, wait, the idea's still here. I'm still here. My camera is still here, and it will be a different type of flow. And it's so beautiful. And I was coaching a client this week who said to me, I want to create this big, she was working this big body of work for her business. And she said to me, Cass, where is my mountain cabin? Where are my 3 weeks away without children and like dinners? And I said to her, let's just do this in 1 hour a day. And we sat down and she had joined like this writing room that I was running. And she did, it wasn't even an hour because I'd spent too long coaching her and it was 45 minutes. And she just created the whole version. Like she created a whole piece of like something that she would not have imagined she could have done in 45 minutes because of the intention and the structure. And within that structure, the flow was like, hello, I can arrive now because I'm being held. So
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to have so
Children
much
need
fun.
boundaries. Yeah.
Yes.
You don't just let a child just like, I want to do this. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
If
I'm not going
only.
to school. I'm just going to scribble on the walls. Of course, and I know that boundaries are essential.
Yeah.
And yeah, and actually, this is the first time in my life that I'm actually looking at I've got it just in front of me here.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about having this structure and routine in my life, really, and the thing is, again, was just, it's just like, well, why didn't you do this sooner? I I just feel that I do believe in divine timing and everything
Mm.
happens for a reason, and there's just things happen in my life and all the, being a single parent as well, and even to teenagers and older children, there's a lot of stress that's put upon you. You're kind of thinking ahead for them. There's a lot of mental load that comes not just with the physical. It's just like, not even having, I am in a relationship, but we don't live together, so I still call myself a single parent because, it's at the end of the day, you're not with the father of your child, discussing their, what happened today and what that, oh, do you think they're okay emotionally? I was literally good cop, bad cop, emotional coach, practical, everything.
Everything.
And I actually thought, you know what? When I look at them now and who they are as young adults, I'm so proud of them. And
Mm.
even, my daughter spent, 3 days in Barcelona, and I was just, of course, I was worried about her, but she's just like, Mum, I'm fine, oh, it's all
Yeah.
good, have a great time, it's clubbing till dawn, and we're so close, and I'm super close with my kids. They tell me so much that I didn't ever talk to my parents about
Yeah.
when I was growing up. And yeah, first and foremost, I'm their parent, and we have rules and boundaries. Even as adults, I've said to them, don't remember think that just because you've turned 18, that if I ever hear the words "I'm an adult and I can do what I want," I said until you're financially independent, until you are making your own way in the world, there's still going to be rules and there's still going to be boundaries. So, and they respect that, I think. I think.
I hope. So
So,
on
yeah.
that, on like on single motherhood, how do you think single motherhood changed your relationship to trust and to holding the vision for your life?
Hmm. Oh, I'm not sure really. I think, you know, it's it's been really hard, I will say, energetically, and particularly I think when you're a coach and you're very in tune with things like limiting beliefs and money stories and positive language and overcoming things that go wrong in life, friendships. It felt like every day I was just on high alert with, coming home, how was your day? So they couldn't just say, oh, so and so was mean to me and da 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 da. It'd be like, right, okay, let's do some tapping. Let's
Yeah.
tap it out. And I, and to this, I spoke to my daughter recently because last year I decided to create this program for kids. It was the children's emotional toolkit, I called it. And again, I'm not a parenting coach. I'm not, and I just wanted to create a series of, tapping videos for children around topics that I knew helped my kids.
Yeah.
And, with physical things, helping them reframe when things go wrong. My daughter had terrible OCD from the age of, 8 to 10, 2 years where it could have just been, funny enough, we were talking about last night because she had a terrible fear of airplanes. She had a terrible vomiting phobia. Oh my God, this whole thing with my dad. She did have a little trigger, but it was fine. She dealt with it.
Yes.
But and I said to her recently, I said, do you think tapping made a positive impact on your childhood? She said, yeah, absolutely. She said, you were always there, tapping things out at bedtime. She goes, at the time I might, and when the younger she was, the more she was like, yeah, it was kind of our nightly routine and we would just, it
Yes.
was our bonding time. And even my son, he did it as well.
I
And
love that.
he's 20 now. He's a young man. He's big and strong,
He
and
probably taps in his room every night.
not sure about, but he did it at the important times when it
Yeah.
he needed it and it mattered. And even my daughter, she did it through her A levels in the summer. And she was she suffered with kind of just breakouts, teenage breakouts for a while. And I thought, I'm going to create a tapping video for acne because I really feel there's a link between repressed emotions as a teenager and what we hold on to, the stress we hold on to our skin. So
Yes.
yeah, I know it's a multi-pronged approach, but that, just gave me the idea for that. But throughout their childhood, and I didn't talk about stuff when they were younger, but I did say to them, when you get older, I can't wait to talk about all the stuff that and I said, I will ask your permission first. But but yeah, and I think that was the exhausting thing for me, just like knowing, oh my God, right, I can't, not, I don't mean like be like other parents. I'm not saying,
I
but
know
it's
what you
just
mean. It's
that level of awareness you have
yes.
that we're gonna clear this, we're gonna process this, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
They have been my biggest teachers. You know, they might like my guinea pigs when during my training and when I learn
Yes.
about holistic things and even talking to them about life and you know manifesting jobs. Even I was really kind of like, yeah, I even kind of came to the conclusion a little while ago, so Mel, well, why haven't you had that seven-figure launch yet? Why haven't you, you know, um, and it's just like comparison, why
Yes.
are others who've done the same thing as you so much further ahead? Or, and that whole and then I don't know, Mel, it's all fine, it's great.
Yes.
If I were to, I feel that the past 10 years, and I do get emotional thinking about this,
Yeah.
my biggest job has been being their mother
Yeah.
to make sure that they get through
Oh, it's gonna
childhood, to
make us
get to
both
this,
cry.
without anxiety, with
Mm.
confidence, with resilience, and that actually they can just go off to uni, be capable. I see some of these parenting uni groups, the mothers are wreck because their kids leaving.
Yes.
Kids are just really anxious. I think anxiety with children is so massive right
Mm.
now. The inability to cope with life, with what the everything that's going on in the world right now. My kids, I'm in awe of them. Sometimes I feel like they're the adults and
Yeah.
I'm the child, and I think I am so proud of them. I have such a good relationship with them. They're my Yes, I'm their mum, but they're my best friends. And they said, where are we going on holiday next year? The fact they still want to go on holiday with me,
Yes.
isn't it? Some of my friends and their kids don't want to go on holiday with them anymore. And I see that breakdown of the lack of communication. I think if you were to measure success on, parenting, I thought, bloody hell, my kids are amazing. I'm
Yeah.
so, so lucky. And that's where my focus, my time, my energy has gone this
Yeah.
past decade.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've built a business alongside and I'm really proud of that. But I would have dropped everything for them.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, it's my time to kind of,
Yes.
right, kids, I've given you all the tools and resources. And the other thing was, I think, yeah, if I'd have created, seven figures or just, and that's the thing, they do make me laugh. They know that when I've had a good launch or, that's it, oh God, mum's buying shit on Amazon. And she's like, Mum, we don't need this. I treat them, we're suddenly, we're eating out every night that week.
Yes.
And it's like, Mum,
Something big has happened, Mum.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mum's doing all right at the moment.
Yeah.
And, but I think had life have been consistently like that, I'd have been like, do you know what? Don't worry about getting a part-time job. Here, you,
Yes.
I will not fund you, but here, take that. Here's a couple
Yeah.
of £100. Here's
Yeah.
here's the money.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the job. And I would have, and where's that word come from? I would have spoilt them. I really think I would have.
Yeah.
Um, but and that's the thing. There's all the ways of reframing it now. If I'd known now, I would have done things differently. Yeah. But it's just that kind of that. And this is just new awareness I've had recently that they've both had, not had to. I didn't force them to get part-time jobs, but I thought it was good for them to earn their money, to appreciate where it comes from, to actually have a bit of work ethic,
Yes. And understand the
to
value for money of
understand the
in
value,
that
be
way.
self-disciplined. You need to get there. You've got responsibility to your employer. You've got that shift to do. And they've learned, customer service skills. They are confident with, they can deal with customers. They wouldn't
Yeah.
have had that if they'd just been sat in their bedroom scrolling on their phone. So that from the ages of 16, they both had part-time jobs and yeah, and they've had to learn the value but also I think having that work ethic as well, just I'm really pleased that that's happened. But now, and I said to them recently, I said, do you know what? If I've, we were talking about the Euro Millions. I said, if I won the Euro Millions, I said, would you still go to, I'd almost like, I wouldn't want to tell you because I wouldn't want you to not go to uni and do,
It's like
and
that
then, I,
meme, there'd be signs. You wouldn't know I won the lotto, but there'd be signs.
I know, but no, we laugh about that. But no, they're both very happy with their choices and the direction they're heading in their life, that nothing would derail them now. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, sorry, I can't even remember what
Oh,
your
I
question was.
love that. No, I don't remember either, but I love the answer. I love that. And I do some tapping with my kids. My daughter is a bit more resistant to me. Sometimes she likes me to tap on her, but not but be silent. So she doesn't I have to do it differently. And with my son, he'll do it with me, but also what's so beautiful, when he sees me get a bit flustered, he'll come up to me, he's 4. He'll come up to me and he'll start tapping and he'll say, "Mummy, say the words." And it's so
Oh,
cute. And it's the same thing where you said, like, I know he's only 4. And don't worry, everyone, I am the adult in the house with my 4 and 6 year old. But it's like sometimes he's the adult for me for a moment. He has literally said to me, Mummy, you need to calm down, take a breath, breathe like this. And he'll do like a little mudra and
I
with
love
his
it.
hands and he'll breathe. And then I will stop and I will breathe with him. And then he said to me the one time, he goes, "How do you feel now, Mummy?" And he said, yeah, how do you feel now, Mummy? I said, better. He goes, "Good, Mama." But like a little good, Mama. And I absolutely melted. It was so cute. And yeah, but the tapping is I do it and they see me doing it. And then I do it with them in the ways that they can receive it at this age. But I love that you just made that a part of I do Reiki with on my kids always. Like my son was in such a bad mood the other day. He was shouty and angry. And I said to him, "What are you feeling in your body?" And he said, "Anger." And I said, "Where is it?" And he said, "It's in my back." So he was in the shower, he turned around and I started to like with my hand move it out and he couldn't see me obviously. His back was to me. He goes, "No," and I wasn't touching him. He goes, "No, pull it out." So he could tell that whatever I was doing was
Wow.
not helping the anger in his back.
It's
So
an
I
old
said,
soul,
"Okay."
isn't he?
Yeah, so I pulled it out and just once. And again, he couldn't see my hand. He turns around, he goes, "Okay, thank you, mummy. I'm all better now." And he was back to just completely being himself. And it was so amazing for me because I was like, if I didn't ask him that, he would still be holding that energy and emotion, and he would was expressing it in such a big way. And all I did was say, "How are you feeling?" I mean, we've done lots of work around me being like the fact that he's 4 and he can say, "I feel angry in my back." But then I just pulled it out, and he was just like a different child, not a different child, himself. It was beautiful.
Mm, wow.
Um,
Love that.
So I feel like you and I could talk for hours, but let's do some tapping. We did make a
Okay.
joke. You've got to be somewhere in 6 hours. I was like, you didn't save your whole day for this, but let's do some tapping because we might get to the 6 hours. Um, so I am happy to be. If you want to start the first round, and then I'll do it, but you just like hand it over to me whenever. If you end up doing three, and then we'll just follow the flow of the tap, and I feel like there'll be a natural conclusion the way there is in yoga where everyone ums and then all of a sudden everyone stops. So we'll just see how we keep flowing.
Okay.
Yeah, over to you.
Literally just on whatever's coming into for me right now.
Yes, and what I'm going to
Okay.
do, just for everyone listening, I'm going to mute myself when Mel speaks, and then I'll actually speak it out loud as well. Um, yeah, just so that no one will see that or hear that, but I just thought it'd be nice. And I'm going to quickly just pull a card from my Belief Balance deck. You don't have to go with this energy at all, but I just find
No,
it's
do the
really
card
nice.
first. I love, yes,
Yeah,
perfect.
okay. So, oh, there you go. We got two. So the first one that jumped out is fire element, heart meridian, brokenhearted. So it's
Mm.
shifting brokenhearted energy. It's in the heart meridian, which is so fire element, heart meridian. So fire is our purpose, our passion. It's very much that vision, and it's where we hold that energy. And it's that giving love to ourselves, receiving love. It's like that's where we manifest from that heart energy. And then obviously, heart, we know love for self, love for others, forgiveness, resentment, all of that. And brokenhearted. So actually, if we flip it, it's wholeheartedness. And it's that wholehearted. And I like what just came to me as I said that was even when you said like what you manifested for your parents, that's like this wholehearted manifestation. It's not, oh, I just want, and this is also wholehearted for lots of reasons. I want the shiny new car. It's like, I want this for my family and for my family's safety and peace and support. So that's the first card. And the second one, oh, so I did say earth energy would come up. That had dropped in. Earth energy, stomach, and bitterness. So it's shifting the bitterness, and very much then it's the energy of the sweetness and the joy. And earth energy is that it's anything that holds, it's grounding, nourishing yin. It's what holds something else. So it's, my table is earth energy. It's holding my computer and my cards, and my laptop is earth energy. It's holding Zoom. It's holding our conversation. But then earth energy is also what are we holding that we want to receive? And how is our container? You spoke of the home being an important pillar of receiving. Our home is earth energy. Our body is earth energy. Receiving is earth energy. We need something to hold what we're receiving. So I feel like it's making space for us to receive.
Mm.
And then it's in the stomach, which is about like, when we get like bloated with too much stuff, too many thoughts, too much clutter, too many worries. It's like, let's digest that and release it and not hold on to bitterness. So it's really this energy of sweetness and wholeheartedness.
Mm.
I love it.
I I think what's also coming up for me is the you talked about two different types of polarities of the bitterness and the sweetness, brokenheartedness and wholeheartedness. And I just think, I don't know, I think where to start this round of tapping is for anyone who's in that kind of almost kind of like that lower energy, either brokenheartedness or grief or that bitterness, resentment. Just if you're in a, you know, not everyone, when I think about exactly 2 weeks ago, no, it was, yeah, 2 weeks ago, yes, so Friday morning, 2 weeks ago, I was in that I used the word broken earlier. I felt just like broken with
Yes.
jet lag, with, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for my parents? But now, and literally in a short space of time, I think just literally putting it out there, telling you what is it I want right now.
Yeah.
that I literally manifested in 72 hours the perfect care of my parents, which has actually just freed up my life in so
Yeah.
many ways. And I think you've got to sometimes be in that place of just utter contrast to what it is you want. So I think just obviously, we hope, lots of people are going to be watching this, and everyone's going to have a different, and things may be going great in other areas of your life, but there may be one area that's just like, oh God, I would. So I think just to tune into whatever is going on in your life right now, that bit that feels broken, or where you feel the resentment or the despair or the just the polar opposite to what you want right now. And so let's just start tapping on that. Even though I may be feeling broken right now, in despair, worried, or there may be something really big going on in my life right now that I can't see a solution to. Despite all of that, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though there's this thing that's going on in my life right now, and I can't see the solution. Things just feel so dark and heavy. But despite all of that, I choose to deeply and completely love and honor myself. And even though there may be other people involved, it could be their stuff, but I'm so close to it that it's actually now my stuff too. And things just feel so difficult right now. And I can't see a solution. Despite all of that, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and forgive myself and anyone else who may be contributing to this situation. Things just feel so dark right now. The energy feels so heavy, and I can't see a way out of this. There's despair, grief, worry, fear, all these heavy, heavy emotions. I'm allowing it all to come up to the surface, allowing myself to process whatever's going on right now. And I'm ready to let it go. And I choose to trust that whatever I'm going through right now, the polar opposite exists. The solution exists. The light is coming. And I choose to trust. Do you want to continue, Cassie?
Yeah. Oh, I loved that. I choose to trust it's safe for me to feel what I'm feeling because I don't often do that. Sometimes I give myself a really hard time when things feel hard. I might blame myself. I might blame other people. Might even blame the universe. And although I can take responsibility for my part in everything, sometimes the beauty is in releasing the meaning that I place on it. And in releasing the meaning, I actually can release attachment. And the more I trust that I can feel what I'm feeling and be safe in it, even when it is so deeply uncomfortable for me, and the more I trust that the polar opposite exists, the more space I'm actually making to receive that polar opposite. They say it's always darkest before the dawn. I've literally got that song in my head. And even when I don't know how long the darkness is lasting, I can actually hold myself through it. Because in so many ways I've done this before. And in every way I can do this again. There is so much light still flowing towards me. There is a third option and a fourth option and a fifth option and a sixth option. I'm going to write my beautiful list, my unicorn list. And I'm also going to release attachment. Because while I can hold so much of this light and all the light that's coming to me, it's actually not all up to me. I don't even have to have the perfect list, because that's something else to process. The perfection of the unicorn list. It can be whatever flows through. And I can end it with, or something even better. I can let the universe fill in the gaps, surprise me. I receive all upgrades flowing to me. And I can look for the tiny bits of light that are going to grow and grow and grow. And I know I don't have to actually work hard to find that light. Over to you, Mel.
Above all, I choose to trust. Trust in divine timing. Trust that everything is working out for my highest good and for the highest good of everyone else involved. And even though that light can feel far away, sometimes the sunrise can happen really, really quickly. And within what can seem like moments, it's just blue skies and sunshine. And I know I've seen this happen before. And I know it will happen again. Maybe even really, really quickly. Because this is just part of the evolution of life, my journey, and my story. That there are no bad parts. always lessons and riches to be found in the dark. And the strength that happens from going through difficult times. And I know it's a cliche, but that is how diamonds are formed, in the dark and under pressure. Without the dark and the pressure, the diamond would never have been created. So I'm calling in this divine light of the universe to transmute this pain into joy, darkness into light, and for me to become that shining diamond that I was always meant to become. This has just all been preparation. But the time feels like it's coming. And I'm ready. Or I'm getting ready to be ready. Ready for the blue skies and sunshines. And stepping into this diamond light of the universe. Okay, do you want to wrap up and finish off?
And once I do, I'm going to let myself receive it because I'm so safe in receiving and holding and integrating this light. I do so from my natural state. And I can do so without the other shoe dropping. Because receiving light is my natural state. And I can hold it so beautifully. And I love to end with, or something even better. Thank you, Mel. That was so beautiful.
Thank you. That was amazing.
I love it. So I always just feel so buzzy and tingly after. So everyone
Mm.
just feel your feelings, feel how you're feeling, receive that. And maybe even just, I don't want to take this away from you, Mel, if there's something that you usually say. I know you have like you end with like a beautiful, often a visualization or like receiving it. But for everyone, if there's something that landed there for you, a vision, a feeling, just to take a moment to anchor into it. Because I know for me, and I know we all will have different sensations that come through with tapping, but for me, there's just like this beautiful buzzy lightness that flows through me and around me all the time. And so for everyone, come back to this. What I'm going to do is I love to pull the tapping sequence out. So if you've just watched or listened to our whole beautiful interview and you want to come back just to the tapping, you'll be able to find that. So you can just do that again whenever you want. And there'll be something else that comes through every time. You'll clear something else every time. You're a different version of you every time you come sit down to do the tapping or walking. You might not be sitting, it might be a gratitude walk, and you're like, actually, I'm going to do some tapping. Um, and lots of water because tapping is energy and energy needs flow and flow needs water to move through. So, thank you, Mel. That was so wonderful. Can you share with everyone where they can find you? And of course, I'll put links and everything in the show notes. But yeah, how can they find more of you?
Well, I've got two homes,
Yes.
mostly on Instagram, and you're more than happy, for you to DM me on Instagram. I think that's
Yes.
how we connected, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram DM or YouTube. I would just come and subscribe and like and share the videos.
Yes.
really what I just want to see more and more people tapping. The younger we can get them doing it, we talked about our kids a lot. The younger we can do it, the better. And I honestly think the world would be a better place if everyone could process their emotions in the moment, reframe the stories in their head, whatever mental chatter is going on, your anxiety, your fear, your worry, your phobia is just the result of a conversation that's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And you can change that with tapping. And I don't want to make light of, serious people's issues. And I'm not just saying one round of tapping is going to fix everything, but I've had people, I've had a few times when people have reached out to me or through, said, I knew somebody who was in a really desperate place, literally, life and death. And that tapping video, it just saved their life
Yeah.
just so they could make a just feel calmer, just in the and you're not going to get from down here to up here in one go, and
Yeah.
especially there's a lot going on in your life. But as I say, you can literally change your tapping, you just have to change your life one tapping video at a
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And it's not just tapping, it's just the people who you'll call into your life, the resources, the sometimes just tapping for, I think that round of tapping was so powerful. I really, really
Yeah.
felt it.
Yeah.
And I think that could help an awful lot of people if you are going through dark times. And just be aware, be open. Just, who comes into your life now? What
Yes.
are you led to read? What it might just be like a billboard or a slogan, or, just pay attention to the signs.
Yes.
It's not just tapping, it's not just, it could be as simple as something you might overhear, a snippet of a conversation. It's like, oh my God, I needed to hear that.
Yes.
Just tap and then just be open to whatever.
Whatever. The light. The rainbows on your hair. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Mel. And yes, for everyone listening, watching, come over and send each of us, not to give you more life admin, but send us a DM and let us know what landed for you on the episode and yeah, how you felt after that tapping. So thank you so much.